I teach you the Superman. Man is something that is to be surpassed. What have ye done to surpass man? All beings hitherto have created something beyond themselves, and ye want to be the ebb of that great tide, and would rather go back to the beast than surpass man? What did Nietzsche want to tell us with Superman? Before we get to that, let's look at the context in which Nietzsche says these words. Nietzsche says that after the Enlightenment movement, Christianity and the Church lost the power they had. That's why, with the phrase God is dead, he states that the system of values and morality created by Christianity and the Church has collapsed. But according to Nietzsche, this was a crisis. At the end of this crisis, all human values and morality had collapsed. That is why man had to transcend himself and evolve into Superman. Christianity and other celestial religions taught that this world was transitory, advised to avoid pleasures and delights, and glorified asceticism. For Nietzsche, this was slave morality. For him, there was no other world, only this world. In his work, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, he says the following sentences. I conjure you, my brethren, remain true to the earth, and believe not those who speak unto you of super-earthly hopes. The master-slave morality is important for understanding Nietzsche's concept of Superman. Nietzsche gives us a narrative of master-slave morality and describes an ancient society through two classes: masters and slaves. Masters are powerful, creative, wealthy. They love themselves and see themselves as good. They call those who oppose them, the helpless and weak, evil. Slaves are in a worse situation. They cannot do what they want because they are oppressed by their masters. Nietzsche argues that after a while there is a slave revolt. This is not a physical revolution, but a moral one, as slaves are too weak for such revenge. With this revolt, slaves come to the conclusion that they can endure their suffering if they redefine it as both good and a choice. They begin to praise poverty, weakness. Masters are called bad because they are wealthy, powerful, and capable. Master morality includes those who see themselves as good because of their strengths of both mind and body. Their values are things like wealth, glory, ambition, perfection, self-realization. They affirm life and everything in it. An example of a morality similar to that of the master would be that of the ancient Greeks. Aristotle's Ethics, for example, praises those who live life to the fullest while ignoring the poor. Greek heroes, for example, are those who make their will and goals come true no matter what. This is perhaps why they say, "The strong do what they will. The weak suffer what they must." Slaves were used to the lack of values that their masters had, and they turned this lack into something good. For example, humility was considered a virtue because they had nothing. Infinite generosity was praised because they needed to be helped. Nietzsche understood that some people needed the comfort of slave morality. Some people existed for that, but his concern was that they had adopted the slave morality when they could have lived different lives through fear of hell, authority, herd psychology, etc. Superman would be beyond good and evil, would not fully commit himself to one of these morals. Superman would direct his life, his values, his goals himself, without regard to the pressure of others. Superman must love his destiny. He must embrace and affirm even the most painful events. Nietzsche calls this amor fati. My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati. That one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. Not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it, but love it. We must love our destiny, but in what sense? We should love it not as a necessity, but as something that happens in the course of life. To be able to find something beautiful in it, even when something very bad, painful happens to us. Carl Gustav Jung explains loving your destiny with this sentence: we cannot change anything unless we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. When we look at all this, we see that becoming Superman is not easy. Not everyone can succeed. There is no formula or tactic, but as Nietzsche said, I love him who seeks to create beyond himself, and thus succumbeth. It was important for Nietzsche even to adopt this idea and follow this path.